3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
You have always said that you want to open up space for everybody, right? For the everyday family. Yeah. Is that what this is about?
Yeah, I think when you've got a brand new mode of transportation, you have to have pioneers, and Jared is essentially a pioneer in this regard. So things are expensive at first, and then as you're able to increase the launch rate, increase the production rate, refine the technology, it can become less expensive and accessible to many more people. So it's really, without pioneers like NASA and people like, there's really no way for us to get to the point where the spacecraft is affordable to the average person. But that is absolutely our goal.
A lot of people may be thinking space is still awfully risky. Is it too risky to put 4 civilian astronauts on a trip all by themselves up around the Earth?
Well, I think this is not something that is it would be safer to stay at home, obviously. There is risk associated with the flight because you have new technology in an environment that is to date seen very few people.
You're paying for yourself and for 3 other civilians to go on this trip. That must really create a sense of responsibility for you and for their lives and their well-being.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. This is a stepping stone towards, a much grander ambition, one that Elon and the team have shared quite a bit, where anyone and everyone can go and, explore among the stars. But if something, doesn't go right on this one, and this is why we have to take it, so seriously, and why it is an immense amount of responsibility, it's going to shift the timeline to the right on everything else that everyone is trying to accomplish. So right from the start, it is an immense amount of responsibility, one we're taking, incredibly seriously.
Elon, will this end up being one of those historic moments in space flight, like Apollo and like the shuttle and like SpaceX?
Well, I do think this is an historic moment. Absolutely, it'd be the first commercial crew, the first sort of non-government crew on Dragon, and I think it is an important milestone on the road to making space accessible to all.
Elon, this almost sounds like a joyride for somebody and for the people who can afford it. Is that what this is, or is it something more substantive than that?
When America went to the moon in '69, it wasn't just a few people. Humanity went to the moon. We all went there with them. And I think it's something similar here. We will all be with Jared on the journey, and we'll be seeing it in real time.
The lesson seems to be don't ever bet against Elon Musk. So with that in mind, what's the updated timeline then? How soon would you expect a lunar base, for example? How soon would you expect a trip to Mars?
I think we can probably send uncrewed starships to Mars in maybe about 3.5 years or something like that, and then perhaps in about 5.5 years or so we can send people if those uncrewed starships don't explode.
Very interesting interview by Elon Musk there. Some parallels there with Neuralink as well. And the first parallel is that Elon Musk specifically stated that as time goes on, as more investment is made, he expects technology to possibly make these trips either to the moon or to Mars cheaper. I mean, of course, he has a whole vision of basically producing a colony on Mars which will have no laws that him and I guess whatever heads of society put together. Almost sounds like a sort of, I don't know, an agnostic type of new colony. But anyway, he's basically said, you know, as time goes on, he expects technology to get cheaper, or at least these trips to get cheaper. And that's very similar to Neuralink. Probably will be quite expensive at first, but then as more and more people pick it up and take the implants and the technology, it will probably get cheaper, probably become status quo. And obviously if he does create a colony for Mars, it will almost be the done thing to get the brain computer interface whilst you're going out to Mars as well. And maybe just to sort of function and integrate into society, to be kept up with, you know, the latest high speed bandwidth in interface direct to your sort of mind. So definitely can see that happening, and maybe even becoming a bit of a requisite for you to function in society. So the other thing that he said was that he expects possibly to be able to get unmanned space flights to the moon, I think he said in 3.5 years, and have humans flying to Mars in 5.5 years. This is really rapid breakthrough, phenomenal speed development by Elon Musk, who within the space of a year has moved up from virtually number 40 to become number 1 in terms of the richest people in the world. And there's parallels there, of course, with the Bible prophecy, with Revelation chapter 13 verse 16, the mark of the beast, obviously for the Neuralink. But he's making such rapid advancements, and in Revelation, the book of Revelation chapter 13, of course, it talks about it's the devil that gives power to the beast, at least the first beast, I believe, but there's also a second beast. But regardless, things are progressing at an ultra rapid rate, and it seems nothing can stop Elon Musk. The other thing that's just come to mind is Elon Musk just had a spaceship which I don't think it left orbit, but it went up on a test, came back down to the launch pad and exploded. And Elon Musk is reflecting on that at the end of the video. He basically says, yeah, it should be okay for people to travel to these planets or to make these voyages or take this technology, as long as the spaceship doesn't blow up. And he says that very tongue-in-cheek, but he's half right, for one. And he also said in a previous interview that when people go to Mars, some people might die. But nobody bats an eyelid, because everybody's following and sort of worshipping him, paying homage. But the whole thing with the spaceship exploding is, yet again, that has parallels with the mark of the beast, because the Bible says, you know, whoever shall take that in Revelation chapter 14 shall be damned. And this is how things are moving along a prophetic timeline, although we don't know necessarily that Neuralink will be what constitutes the mark of the beast. But the developments are just profound, breathtaking in terms of progression and speed, and something to consider, especially when you consider the overall salvation message from the Bible in line with Bible prophecy. This is Brother Darren, Hebrews 9 verse 27 and John 3 verse 16.